Los Angeles, California, it's Landed Late Night. Tonight's guest, Jed Wyatt. And now, your host, Haley Ringo.
Welcome back to Landed Late Night. I'm your host, Haley Ringo. Tonight we have America's #1 enemy for the past 2 weeks. You've heard his apologies on millions of platforms, but tonight that's not how this episode is going to go. This is going to be as raw and unproduced as you can get. Please welcome one of my dearest friends, Jed Wyatt! Come on the stage, baby! I'm gonna take my hopes down the hometown road. I'm gonna ride to the... I'm so over that song, honestly. God, mother. I don't know why I sang it. I looked at you and I thought Nashville, and then that came into my mind. Okay, well, first off, cheers. You've had a hell of a long week.
Yeah.
We need this, Casamigos. Please sponsor me. Okay.
We do.
And...
Casamigos.
I'm not kidding, but I
role.
love you, George Clooney. He's a guy. You know what? I'm just gonna keep drinking this. Why don't you take some more too? You probably need it.
Right.
Yeah. So do I.
Cheers.
Breakup season, baby. Breakup season. Okay.
Oof. Yeah.
You know I'm excited to have you on the show.
Yeah.
You know I'm honored to have you on the show. You know I love you. I think you're one of the best people I know. And so, really, like, you guys, I just want this episode to be, like I said, just raw, unproduced. I want y'all to hear Jed's heart. I want you to see his heart. He's done a lot of interviews with podcasts, but people don't get to see your face and your expressions. And Jed and I met 4 years ago when I lived in Nashville, and I shot the cover of his album, EP.
It was
what do you want to call it?
It was
a single. Okay, we'll call it that.
My first single.
It was his first album.
Very first
It
single.
hit top of the charts. Okay, woo!
Well, I've been wanting to come on Landed since you started this.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I knew that.
Yeah. I think as soon as I saw this, I was like, I want the pink lights.
So yeah, this week for you has been crazy. I've seen it firsthand, and you know the night like after the final rose was awful, and not ideal.
Yeah, I mean it was a lot. I didn't know what to expect going into that. It was kind of my choice to show up because we had a phone call that kind of wrapped everything up with our relationship. So I didn't really have to, but I wanted to, have closure on camera with her.
I can vouch for that because I was with you the night of the final rose and afterwards, and as you know, like I had just broken up with the guy I was seeing, and all the stuff went down, as you guys saw on national television with Hannah. And heartbreak is awful, like in general, but for you to have to like, for anybody in this scenario, like everyone involved, like to go through that on national television and to have millions of people like making their own assumptions and critiquing you and critiquing Hannah, everybody involved is a shit show, honestly. And it's, and I got to see, like, I just know how upset you were, and knowing you as a friend, like, it was hard to see that. And, even after, like, when y'all had that conversation that you guys saw on camera, when, she gave you the ring back.
That's not what I said yes to.
I mean, I remember this, like, so vividly, and it broke my heart, but you called me, and you were like, Haley, do you think I'm a bad person? And that, like, it literally killed me inside because I was like, I think you're one of the best people I know. And so for you to ask me, like, that question specifically, it was like all these people were weighing in on their opinions and, like, and just, camera, everything was filmed on camera. You guys never have a conversation off camera, correct?
No. I mean, even after the engagement was broken, we didn't get to talk face to face. I wanted to, but it was just something that she couldn't come around to do.
Yeah.
She couldn't get herself to do it. So, it's her decision. Maybe it wouldn't have changed anything, but I just, for me, I really wanted to have like a face to face conversation because I feel like, I don't know, I just felt like there was more there, and maybe, maybe there wasn't. I'm not sure, but I just
more there in what? What do you mean?
I kind of thought that our relationship was a little stronger in the sense that we could like sit down and even if we weren't going to be together, just have a face-to-face conversation off the camera.
Yeah. Well, and like in real life, that's like what you would do. You know what I mean? In real life, you wouldn't have all these cameras around you filming you, and like yes, you signed up for that. So did she. that was like, that's the name of the game, but it's not normal. And like, no one prepares you. The analogy I saw in my head is like, no one prepares you to like be a parent or whatever. No one also prepares you to be on The Bachelor in front of freaking millions of people. And you think like, I know I've listened to the podcast interviews that you've done, but like, I want to talk about your experience, like what you thought the show was going to be like going on, and then what it actually was in reality.
So, I'll start by saying that, I was recruited. It wasn't something that I just signed up for.
Right.
I guess I did like go through like the interview process or whatever, but I was like reached out to. It wasn't something I like ever really considered. But I didn't really know what to expect. I just, I'd seen on like Instagram and stuff, like people who had gone through it, other contestants and stuff, and like alumni, and they seemed happy and seemed like it was like a cool, fun, adventurous experience for them. So,
yeah, because it's Instagram. That's what you're seeing is Instagram.
I know.
Which is reality, right, guys?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Totally, yeah, I love it.
Yeah. But I'd never watched. I'd seen like collectively maybe 2 or 3 episodes ever. Like it wasn't something that I cared to watch, which wholeheartedly, I had no idea what I was getting myself into.
Right.
And I feel like everything that I was saying before the show was just me speaking on lack of knowledge. I just had no idea.
Right.
And I could have like watched a bunch of videos and like YouTube and like learned about it, but I kind of wanted to go into it with like an open mind,
right,
an open heart to like whatever could happen there. I guess like I did show up for music. I'll say that.
Well, you said that on the show though too.
Yeah.
That wasn't something that you hid from Hannah or from Bachelor Nation.
No. And
who I feel like I have a little bit of a bone to pick with, but it's fine. We'll get there.
they're passionate. They're passionate people out there.
That's a good word for it. Passionate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know how you feel.
Yeah, you know exactly how I feel.
But yeah, I just didn't really know what to expect, and it ended up being nothing like what I thought. I had some people in Nashville that knew I was going told me, be ready night 1. Some people like try to fight you. They like try to get people to fight you, and I had like all these like really weird things going through my head when I got there. I was on edge, and that first like limo ride and stuff is so like weird because up until that point you don't like see anyone.
You know what? I've always wondered. Do they help you like come up with how to get out of the limo?
No, not really.
Really?
No, I think they're like they'll kind of shoot down some ideas. But they're actually very open to like everything that I was suggesting. I don't know if
So we had options.
I really wanted to be on an elephant.
I
asked like 3 times.
Can we make this happen?
I know that seemed like very unfeasible, but I wanted to ride on an elephant. And it would have made sense. She went to Alabama, so it would have been
Roll Tide, baby.
I had a bunch of just stupid ideas, first off. Like, just really dumb.
Y'all, like, okay, so I feel like you guys haven't gotten to see, I'm going to address the audience, but also talk to you at the same time. Just, like, go with it, you know what I mean? Is your goofy side, you know what I mean? The show, like, how they portray you, they didn't really get to see, like, how
it's
goofy you
just, like,
are.
guitar guy on there.
Yeah, you're a guitar guy. Broccoli had a dog food jingle. What else?
Yeah. What else have I got? What?
Saying what?
What have I gotten? Oh, there's so many.
There's so many. Yeah. He probably blocked a lot of them out. You know, it's like.
You know what? I thought the broccoli head one was pretty funny though. I have to say. I did have like when I watched back, I looked at my haircut and I was like, wait a second.
But you know what? There was a photo I saw that I was like, that's not what his head looks like in real life. So I wonder if someone photoshopped it.
No, I don't think so. I think it was just I had a stupid haircut.
Yeah,
my haircut was like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was broccoli.
It's
a broccoli
slimming
fade.
face and a big head.
There's a name for it. It's a broccoli fade.
A broccoli? Did they name that?
No, that's what I'm naming it now.
Oh my god. You heard it here first, folks. Broccoli fade.
It's
haircut.
Probably not ever going to be in style, but if you want to have one, that's what it's called, and you can ask for it at Cost Cutters.
Oh my god. Okay. So you get there night 1, you're there for the music, and most people go on this show for their career because no one really knows who the Bachelor or Bachelorette is until like literally how many days before? Or how long before?
I didn't know it was going to be Hannah until 2 days before.
Okay. I feel like Bachelor Nation, and when I say Bachelor Nation, I don't mean like everyone involved. I mean specifically like the psycho people who are commenting these things like death threats to Jed's family, or just saying things like, you should just go kill yourself or jump off a bridge. Like, what the actual is wrong with you? That is my opinion on it. And I'm like a very passionate person. The day that he posted that photo with him and his family, I was so angry, like in defense of him, because he's my friend, but also just because, like, you guys, like, we are all human. We are all doing the best that we can. Everyone needs to take a freaking massive chill pill, aka Xanax. But like, just a massive chill pill, because and also, this isn't just to you, like, this is to Hannah. People were like bashing Hannah, talking,
even the other guys too,
like Luke P, like, and it got to be just so disheartening. Like, I feel like, speak on this, because I'm talking a lot, because I'm you know me.
Yeah.
I get lit. I get very passionate about this, and people that I love, I will fight to the death. But
I think that what it is just like people get on their phones or they get on their computers and they start to kind of pour out their thoughts and their feelings, and they don't really take into account that people that go on these shows are as real as they are.
Right.
And that their words do affect them. And it's, it's easy to not look.
Right.
But for some reason, it pops up. It's on Instagram.
I feel like it's not easy. I feel like it's easier to look at it because you want to see what people are saying, even though
you're
it's going to be.
You do get curious. I think everyone wants to do good or feel like they've done something right. And, like in the midst of all the hate, it is nice to see someone stand up and say something positive. So in the midst of searching for the positivity, you do see the negative things. But again, I just don't think people take into account how much this can affect people's mental health. I was kind of told about the other day, and I didn't know anything about this, but somebody had committed suicide due to the, the anxiety and the stress and depression that the show brought them. And, that's not just heartbreak. That's people and Bachelor Nation or just, trolls just going at them. And
right. And it's hard because, like, the people that are doing that, and like, I'm guilty too of being mean to people in my past, like, for sure. But that always comes from, like, it has nothing, way less to do with you or with anybody else in the show, and way more to do with them as a person. Like, it's insecurity, it's whatever. And yes, like, that's. But I still don't. People
get a little bit of fulfillment out of it, and it's kind of gross that that's a thing. But
no, it's sadistic is what it is.
I've taken shots at Luke P on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's an easy thing to do to get like a split second of like people thinking you're funny or just getting likes, like whatever it is to be relevant, and they're just not taking into account like how much it can really affect someone.
Yeah. Well, and even like watching the final rose, which I know you didn't even watch because it was really hard for you. He hasn't even seen it. Like, it's painful, and
I was there.
You were there, but then you left. I mean, you weren't there for a lot of it. A lot of the filming, you weren't on set, and you didn't hear it, right?
Right.
So I mean, it's all like, it is a reality show and it is produced on some level, but it's also very real, and it's like. He's a real human. He has feelings. Like, this doesn't... Yes, like, he made a mistake, but so did everybody else in the show on some level. And to me, it's like... I mean, even your podcast with Ben, what he was talking about, like, rating, like, how bad, one of your actions was versus another. And it's like, why? Like... I
think it's like, who are we to judge anyone's mistakes? Like, we can have our opinions.
Yeah.
And you can have your judgments, but it's being, like, publicly... open with them, I guess.
Right.
Like, and
because obviously, like,
we're not allowed to like really cast our judgment on people. That's not something God wants us to do. And I'll be the first to say I've done it, but it's not right. It's no more right than the mistakes that I made.
Right. And if anything, like, honestly, of this whole situation, this whole scenario has made me realize even more, like, how careful we have to be with our words and with our actions and, like, what we're speaking out to people, what we're saying to people, especially if we're claiming to, like, love God. Like, like, our culture in general, which, there's a lot of factors that play into this, but social media and all these things. We just live and Brene Brown talks about this a lot. Do you know who that is?
No.
You should look her up. She's amazing. But she's an author and speaker and does a bunch of TED Talks. She's brilliant. But she talks a lot about like how we live in such a shame culture and everything. People get off on like watching other people fail and like talking shit about them, and it's sadistic. It's sad. Like it's just nothing like beneficial or loving is like coming from any of that. And I feel like you have apologized way more than you needed to. And yes, like that's speaking to your character because you're taking the high road, and like props to you for like just like falling on your sword essentially.
I mean, I do feel like I've said my sorries because I truly am. I'm very remorseful about it all. But it does get to a point where it's like, I feel like enough is enough. And I know that there's been times in my life where I've been upset with somebody and they've apologized to me a lot. And it's like, I still just like, don't let it go, don't let it go, don't let it go. And that ends up hurting me.
Right.
And
yeah.
I don't know how to say it. It's like, don't let me ruin your day. Move on. If you don't have anything nice to say, then just go do whatever you do.
Right.
I mean, I'm obviously hurt and moving through this and working through it. And there's not really much more I can say than I am sorry. And I've said that. And I can't really go into it anymore.
Yeah.
Than I have.
I mean, like, I know that one of the podcast interviews you did, like, you started tearing up twice. You had to, like, step off set and, like, take a break. Like, it's painful. And we were supposed to film this episode 2 days ago, and he couldn't because he was so upset because of information he found out. You guys, like, this isn't fake. Dealing with that in front of millions and millions of people is a whole nother ball game. It's a whole nother story. And when your life is constantly under scrutiny and people are just making assumptions about your character and who you are as a person, it's brutal. I do think, you should have told Hannah all the things beforehand, even Fantasy Suite, like that would have probably been a good idea, to tell her details. And I'm very much a person that like, I want the nitty gritty details of literally everything, which I've said that to you, because you asked me my opinion and I was like, yeah, I like to know everything. And yes, like you should have told her those things, but what you did, like you having, having a relationship or not, it wasn't even a relationship, having this like thing, whatever, with Haley, and you doing that, telling her you love her, before, the day before you leave for Bachelor, again, that's normal, you guys. He didn't even know that Hannah was Bachelor until 2 days before. He didn't even know Hannah. Like, Hannah's doing the best that she can, Jed's doing the best that he can, Tyler's doing the best that he can. Like, everyone involved in this that made it to the very end. Peter, shout out, whatever. Mike, I love you. But like,
Hi.
Mike, he's so cute. It just seems odd. Like, people pick and choose what they want to have a moral stance on. And this goes for Hannah too. Like, also, I'm just going to address this on the show because I think it's ridiculous that people in Alabama were saying like, she just doesn't know the gospel. Like, she doesn't know Jesus because she was sleeping with guys. Like, that is f***ed up. And it's not okay. Like, I just think it's so, because all those people that were saying those things, you guys have all done that behind the scenes. And your life wasn't on stage for millions of people to see. And just have grace. Like, actually show how Jesus would handle the situation and be loving and kind and generous and give grace. And that's like, oh, God, I get lit again. I'm getting lit. I just like, God.
Get lit. Preach it.
From your perspective, you knowing the situation, with Haley, you knowing your situation with Hannah, and then also like finding out as the season goes on. Did Hannah like tell you beforehand that she had slept with Peter?
No, she did tell me about Peter. I didn't care to know the details, which is fine. The windmill thing was all news to me, and I was like, oh, whoa.
Yeah.
So I do have people that like stand up for me and talk about, the double standard of like my mistake and what happened prior to the show and Hannah being with the other people and sleeping with them. But I mean, I have to say that like if I was in that position, I would want to explore too, because I feel like, the physical is important, especially to me. I mean, I don't think it is like that for everyone, but like for me it's that way. So like I don't like judge her for it, but it is like really weird to watch and hear.
Yeah, because you love her.
Yeah, of course. So, hearing that stuff and seeing it on TV, watching back, it's all hard. It's really just a bizarre, strange thing to see. One, yourself, because I mean, I don't know if anyone has ever called their own voicemail and heard their voice and they're like, oh, that's me. You know what I mean?
hate my voice on camera. Yeah, every time I watch an episode, no.
Right. So, literally watching yourself on a television talk and do the things that you've done is already weird in itself.
Yeah.
So then seeing other relationships and stuff play out with the person that you love, that's like the most weird thing ever. There's no way to like prepare yourself for that at all.
I mean, it is very quick, you know? Like, this is all in what, 2 months, 3 months?
2 months.
2 months, you guys. And you're trying to end with a proposal at the end? Like, that's,
It's a lot of soul searching.
Blah.
A lot of soul
It's
searching.
a lot of soul searching. That's a lot of emotions to feel. And so again, back to like my point this entire time, Bachelor Nation that is like being just the haters on this essentially. And then humanity in general. What did I say?
You said it.
I did.
You
Cheers.
said
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh God,
Gosh.
it tastes so lovely.
Oh,
Oh, I just love it.
it's absolutely scrumptious.
Dashing, scrumptious and like
Yes.
yes.
Exquisite, I would say.
Exquisite, I would say, yes.
Perfect.
It's so good.
Do you remember on the show when I was so embarrassed by this when the old couple asked where we were from or
Yes.
what our accents were, and I was like, English.
Yeah, and she was like, that's not.
I would not
You know
have
what?
been surprised.
Geography wasn't your strong suit. It's okay.
It's
You
okay.
can't win them all.
That's right.
Okay, so something that actually I learned when I was listening to the podcast was that the dock was a metaphor.
It was.
Your letter that you wrote to Haley saying, meet me at the dock, 444, right? Whatever, which is your like.
It's like a
Can you
spiritual-
explain all of that actually?
Yeah. So, she was going through like a stressful time, and meditation's super valuable to me. Like I really treasure being able to meditate, and it's something that I try to do on a daily basis. And I wanted to help her through what she was going through, and so I was trying to teach her how to meditate. And when I meditate, I like to go somewhere in my mind and like picture a place. And
Yeah.
at the time, I was just trying to come up with something that would be helpful to her, so I came up with a dock. But I can totally see how like now it looks like just this like actual dock, but it totally
Was it
just,
the
like,
dock from Jamaica?
Shut up! No.
Or Bahamas? Where were you guys?
No,
I don't
no.
remember.
It was the Bahamas, but no, it was a metaphor. And then the 444 thing, that's a spiritual thing for me. I've always prayed at 4:44. I have like an alarm set on my phone that goes off, and I try to say just like a quick prayer at that time. And I've done that for like years.
Yeah.
So I threw it on there too because I wanted her to have like a reminder, because it's always been helpful to me. I was trying to help more than anything. So that's what that was.
And your feelings for her, like, were they real, or were they, I mean, looking back now, like, you know, you said you loved her, you told her you loved her the night before you left, and then I know you guys slept together the night before you left as well, right?
Right.
So, and again, like, all of that is okay. None of this is wrong, in my opinion, because you hadn't met Hannah yet. Like, this was before you knew her.
Right.
And so, I mean, were your feelings real? Like, how did you actually feel about her looking back now?
I absolutely cared for her a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, she was great. I have nothing bad to say about her. She was always really sweet to me, and we had a great time together. There was just no, like, we knew the show was coming.
Right.
There was just not a solid enough ground for us to actually have a relationship. And had I actually had a relationship, like I said on the podcast, I would not have gone on the show.
Right. Well, and I also, like, I know that about you because I know you, like, on a deep friendship level, like, you are a very passionate person. And so, like, you're also very loyal. So if that was something that was, like, super serious to you, which, again, like, I get why Haley did what she did. She was hurt. Like, it's painful. Heartbreak on any level sucks. Like, it sucks. Like, I want to say that I, you know, that she capitalized on the opportunity, and she, you know, like, now she's verified on Instagram, and she's a singer, and she was going to go on The Voice when you guys talked last, and you were going to The Bachelor. But, like, again, if I were in her shoes, like, I don't know that I would have done anything different, because when you're hurting, you just do things you wouldn't normally do.
My thing is, you know, and this has been brought to my attention a lot of times, because in the midst of all the chaos, I'm just, like, very confused, because, like I've said, I had closure on my end, and I now see that she did not have that closure.
Right.
And that's ultimately my fault. And
but is it pause? Because I know like you and in other interviews that I've listened to, and then with our conversations, you know, the other podcast talked so much about like, well, there was text messages saying like, I love you 444. And one of your main points was like, yeah, but we had phone conversations. We talked
did.
verbally. And like, so do people not do that anymore? Yes, you guys, like people have phone conversations. And so
and we had face-to-face conversations.
Yeah.
I mean, I can remember sitting on, this is something I haven't talked about yet, but I remember sitting on her back porch, and this was, I don't know, a few weeks before I left for the show. And we were sitting with our roommate, and we were talking about the possibilities and what could happen. And we had discussed The Bachelor. You know, I was like, well, I ultimately need to do what's best in that situation. She was like, yeah, I want you to do that. Like, I would not want you to not do what's best for you, which is really sweet. But, like, why would you tell me these things and then come out and do this? And, like, again, I'm not taking away her being hurt, because I see it. Especially now, like, when I get to see her interviews and see how emotional and stuff she is, like, that still hurts me. Like, I hate to feel like I've hurt someone.
Yeah.
And I did not intentionally hurt anyone.
Right.
That was not my intentions at all. But I just don't understand how you can love someone the way that you say you love them. Tell them that you want the best for them to their face. And that no matter what, you know, everything will be okay. And that they should do what's best for themselves. That's what she told me. I don't understand how that could be a conversation and then this happened. That's what confuses me.
And with everything that's happened with Hannah and how I really do believe, like, this is my perspective, is like, if you would have met Hannah off of the show and this would have been something that happened, everything, if it all happened off the show, I feel like you guys could have worked it out.
Yeah.
But there are producers involved. It's the show. They got to make, I mean, you guys, it's entertainment for us, for the population. And I just think there's people talking in everybody's ears, people, you know, like giving you advice, telling you things that aren't true.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
I mean, and it goes even beyond the show. There's friends. There's people on social media. Like, there's all these things. When you're under the microscope, everyone is so quick to cast their opinions, and you look at all of it, and it's hard to really listen to what you want for yourself.
Yeah.
It's really hard. And I think that's ultimately why Hannah had to take so much time to herself, because she had so many voices going through her head. Though it was hard, I totally think that we should have had face-to-face conversation. Even if it wasn't meant to be or gonna happen, I think that we should have at least sat down and talked off camera, just us.
Do you believe that she was your person?
It felt that way to me. Like, I was so sure about it. It felt so right. I've never felt so, like, emotionally there.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that's why it's been so hard, is because, you know, I've had a hard time, like, letting myself go there for someone. But for her, it clicked. And I was just blown away that it was on a TV show.
Yeah. With
other people watching. And I didn't want to lose her. But
which is why you didn't tell her initially, like, all the things.
I was being super fearful.
Yeah.
I mean, some would say a coward. For me, when I look back on it, on myself, like, I see the mistake, don't get me wrong, but, like, it's just, like, I was acting so out of fear, and I was under all this pressure of everything, you know, losing, the main thing being losing my person. Right. I did not want that to be a thing.
Right.
I was like, I do not want to lose this person. I've prayed for this person. Yeah. This is who I want to spend my life with. And I let the fear of losing that person outweigh me being loving, being like, you know what, here it is. If you don't want me, I'll be hurt, but whatever. I should have done that.
If you've never felt like that deeply about somebody in your entire life, and then you do all of a sudden, and the thought of losing that is terrifying. Because yeah, like you said, like you prayed for that your whole life. Everyone prays to have like this grandiose love story, and like you guys had that, and it's I don't know, it's just been really hard to, like, even this past week, like because I know you and I see, just seeing you be like sad, you know, and in pain, like it's like I've seen online that the people have been like, oh, well, Jed just needs to show more emotion. Jed just needs to blah, blah, blah. Like, guys, everyone handles everything, emotion differently and hardships differently. So, like, I know you and I've seen you for the past 2 days, and you're not okay. Like, it's sad and it's painful. So I just, like, 5 months from now, and after this is, like, you know, the dust is settled.
Right.
How do you want to feel? Like, what do you want to be doing? Where do you want to be?
I want to be just a all-around better person. I mean, leading into the show, I just really felt like that I did know who I was, you know, but I learned so much from this, like, from the mistake, from the journey, just the whole, I learned so much, and I want to just apply it to my life.
Yeah.
Like I've said on the podcast, I do want to focus on my spiritual and mental health. I want to be surrounded with my friends, do fun things, fish a lot, sing, the things that make me who I am. I want to do all of that.
Yeah.
And I think really something that's like been speaking to my heart is just to the other guys out there who have been thinking that they're just out having a good time, that they are, you know, it's just they're young and they're having fun. I would want them to, like, kind of see and understand that you never know when you're going to meet your person. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be 10 years from now. But the person that you are leading into that means everything. And I want to help other guys see that, you know. You just never know. And there's no better feeling than looking at someone and knowing that is your person. And you can mess that up by playing with other people's emotions. And that's something that I never intended to do. But I lived that life, and I want to be, you know, better. I do. I want to be better, and I want to help other people kind of see that and understand that, you know, they can do the same. And sometimes it's not all about the fun. And really the happiness comes from you. Whatever you need to do to make yourself a whole person, that's what you should be doing. And that's where the real joy and the permanent joy comes from.
From the Lord.
From the Lord.
From the Lord.
From the Lord. Hallelujah.
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 Cheers to this entire episode. Thank you for being honest and vulnerable and open. I mean, I really hope that everyone just has, like, more, that people's hearts just grew a lot, that everyone has a lot more empathy, and like I said, not only for you, but for Hannah, for Luke P, these people that were, like, criticized heavily during this season, and then for humanity in itself, you guys, like, we're all doing the best we can.
It doesn't mean you have to agree with them. Like,
yeah.
We're not ever gonna, no one's gonna ever be on the same page. Not, you know, we're all different.
Right.
So just realize we're all humans. Do what's best for you, and don't feel like you have to cast your judgment like that. You know,
yeah.
We are all just people.
Right. And it's also just causing you more stress. So just let it go.
Go to the dock.
Go to the dock, baby. Go to the dock.
Go to the dock.
Okay, so each week, Tuesday nights at 8 p.m., I'll be releasing a new episode. Make sure to subscribe to Landed Late Night. Click the notifications tab so that you know each week a new episode comes up. You guys know how to follow Jed, I'm sure, but I'll link all of his stuff below. Let's go jump in a pool.
A pool? We're going to jump in a pool? Let's do it. Thanks for having me.
You're so
It
welcome.
really means the world. You're the best.
You're the best.
Let's do it.
This is fun. You're finally on Landed
I know.
Late Night.
I'm on Landed.
I finally had you on Landed.
I don't think anyone understands how pumped I was for you doing this. Like, I was like, that's so cool.
You're my biggest fan.
So cool. I really am. I like, huge fan. Huge fan.
I love you.
I'm a huge Ringo fan.
Okay. We love you guys.
Yeah.
Give yourself a hug. Give yourself a heart hug. Just like a nice and then hug 3 people around you. I don't know. If no one's around you, walk outside and go find your neighbors. And then also go buy a bottle of Casamigos because that stuff is so good.
And don't let Haley make your drink.
Yeah, don't, because I'll fill it straight with tequila, baby.
Yeah,
hey,
baby.
tequila.
Hey, cheers.
Cheers. So we're going out. We're going out.